Las Travels. Thoughts on the hate Charlotte Flair is getting from toxic fans that are making memes about her personal life, bullying her and mocking her for her plastic surgeries and for having 3 divorces.
Yeah, I've spoke out about it on X. I've got a lot of thoughts actually. I think there's a couple of things that have happened. I think one of them is people honestly don't really think when they see those things. Um, I think there is still, believe it or not, like a bit of distance between the fans and the wrestlers. I'm probably guilty of it as well, where I can comment about a wrestler and not think that there's a chance they could see that comment. Like even now, think of all the stuff I say on streams. I have no idea if any wrestlers have ever joined us. I know that Nick Aldis has joined us when we did NWA streams. I know that Thunder Rosa has joined us when we did NWA streams. I don't think, to my knowledge, I'm ever aware of any WWE wrestlers joining us, but, you know, those Raw superstars don't work on a Friday. So could one of them at some point have jumped in? Is that a shocking thing to think about? Probably not. It's probably not that shocking a thing to think may have happened. When we do our Raw streams, could a SmackDown star have jumped in? Maybe. Genuinely, I don't know. I really don't know. So the point I'm making is that even I have that, where I don't really think I'm ever speaking to a wrestler. I always think I'm chatting to fans that have their own opinions, and we discuss those opinions, and we challenge those opinions, and we explore theories, and that's what we do, right? And I think that there's people that put stuff up, and I'd like to think they put stuff up and don't think the wrestler is going to see them, and they maybe regard it as a bit of banter or something like that. But the truth is that wrestlers, I think, see a lot more than we know they do. We know there's wrestlers that have got burner accounts as well. So they've got accounts not under their real names. Actually, Sean Ross Sapp said one of those burner accounts puts out regular content on social media and has got like 40,000 followers, and it has nothing to do connected to who the person actually is. And so that has got people trying to figure out who is this account, who is putting out memes and, you know, engaging with the IWC under a fake name that has got like 40 odd thousand followers. It is crazy to think about how much they actually see, how close they actually are. And I think even myself, I don't really take that into consideration. So maybe some things get said that would be said down a pub, that would be said in private, that would be said away from the wrestlers. You don't think they'll see, but they do see. And, you know, then, of course, it can obviously make you look like a tool, right? I mean, I think the person that created that meme about, you know, how Charlotte goes away, gets injured, has a divorce, gets plastic surgery, comes back, you know, gets injured, has a divorce, plastic surgery. I mean, I don't think that's funny. I think that's like an attack on her personally. It's nothing to do with her promos. It's nothing to do with her in-ring work. It's, you know, I mean, you're starting to kind of have a go at her face, her looks. You're starting to attack her more personally, and not in a way that feels like she could be in on the joke, right? Not in a way that feels that if she was to see this, she would be okay with this, or I think she would be okay with this. I'm trying to pick my words carefully because I may be guilty of this at times. I don't know. I really try to not be, but you know, I don't know. I've been, you know, I may have made these mistakes in the past. So it's difficult. I can't think of anything in particular, by the way, but I'm just saying that maybe we can all be a bit guilty of doing that, right? Maybe we can all be a bit guilty of stepping out of line at times. I don't know that it's true that it's just certain people that are trolls and the rest of us are angels. I think the truth is that we all have the ability to step out of line at times. And I think that if that happens, I think the person should probably be told, I think this is out of line. I certainly don't think those messages should be praised. And I've got to say, I was really disappointed to see that that message was included in a WrestleLamia video. I wasn't aware that it had been, but I actually, looked at that meme and saw some of the comments that were being made, and someone had attached the WrestleLamia video. And I think the title to that video is Charlotte Gets Cooked. And I was really disappointed to see that they were holding this up as some sort of funny meme that deserves being praised, that, like, laugh at this, look, Charlotte's got cooked. Charlotte actually responded to that meme by saying cute. How about I have a go about your looks now? It's very clear that Charlotte did not find this funny. It's very clear that Charlotte did not find any humor in this. So for an account as big as WrestleLamia that's got, 2 million subscribers, for them to include it in one of their videos, the title of the video to be Charlotte Gets Cooked, for them to kind of hold that up as something that, I don't know, what we're meant to laugh at and find entertaining, I'm stunned by it, honestly. I've never had an issue with WrestleLamia. I don't watch the channel, but I've never had an issue with them. And I was genuinely shocked to see that they had done that. And again, I don't want to throw rocks. I have no idea if I've ever stepped out of line in the past. All I'm going to say is I'm shocked they went with that approach. I think it was out of order. I don't think they should have done that. I think they were out of line for that. And that's as far as I'll go with that. Because, as I said, I don't want to throw too many stones. But I think it's really disappointing. I think that it should be called out. I think it should be reported. And I think it's something that, for me, the test is, if the wrestler was to see it, would they find it funny? Would they be in on the joke? And here, where Charlotte has seen it and has clearly not found it funny, surely the next thing that follows is an apology from the original person. Surely the next thing that follows is the person that posted it going, I'm sorry, I thought that you'd be entertained by this, or I thought maybe it was too far, right? That's what I would expect the response to be. That's not what the response was. The person responded by saying, at least I've got my original looks, or something like this, right? Digging in further. And I put a post up saying, I think some people need to decide, are you a wrestling fan or are you a troll? Like, what is it what standard do you hold yourself to? If you want to come back from work and engage in that kind of stuff, that's fine. There's going to be people that are going to do that. That's absolutely fine. If that's the path you want to choose to go, that's absolutely fine. I don't want anything to do with you. I don't want to be around those kinds of people. They don't bring anything positive or anything of value to the wrestling community. You are choosing to be a troll. If you want to engage in that stuff and you thought it was just funny and, you didn't realize it was hurtful, I don't feel any ill will towards those people. I got tagged in that meme. People tagged me in. I don't know if they tagged me in thinking I'd include it in Unseen, but they tagged me in it. And so I don't know if those people were appalled by it or if they found it entertaining. Sometimes you see stuff and you don't think, you don't stop and think. You just see it and you just share it. But I don't know. I got it. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, nah. The hate that Charlotte is getting now, and it's not even about Charlotte, really. It's just this is about Charlotte. But people are getting too comfortable with hating Charlotte online and crossing a line and thinking that it's okay because it's Charlotte. It's all right if we hate on Charlotte. Everyone hates Charlotte. So it's all right if I go that little bit further. And that's not cool, man. That's not cool. That's really not cool. Like, people would speak out real quick if that same meme had been made about EO, or if that same meme had been made about Bianca. People would be really quick to speak out about it, but because it's Charlotte, for some reason, it's okay. So, yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I think it just shows the level of toxicity that you can find on social media. I think the fact that Charlotte clearly didn't like it and no one seemed to support her. I mean, I didn't read all the comments, but if you do have a look, of course, it's Trolls R Us, isn't it? Out they come. Do you know what I mean? Pile on. Yeah. And unfortunately, I think real wrestling fans get sucked into that. So I'm not here to really lecture anyone. I'm just here to let you know how I feel about it. And as I said, got to be careful when throwing stones. I may have made comments on streams, videos that people think I've stepped out of line on. So I'm not going to paint these people as being horrific and all that kind of stuff. I just think that at times bad choices can be made, and bad choices can be made by anyone at any time. And it's as simple as that. But I think hopefully the standard of being a wrestling fan and the standard of what it is to be a wrestling fan and be an active member in the wrestling community, hopefully that standard can be raised. And hopefully we can find, a way of still criticizing wrestlers, because people should have their opinions. I mean, I push back against that Kylie Ray comment when she was like, some of you are too comfortable criticizing wrestlers. And it's like, I think what she was trying to say is what I've just said, but I think it kind of came out wrong. I think you should be able to have your opinions about wrestling. You should be able to talk about ring gear. You should be able to talk about promos. You should be able to talk about matches. You should be able to do all of these things. But there's clearly going to be a line where you then kind of slip into hate and you slip into attacking people more personally, And so, honestly, if you feel that way, it's probably better to just not speak about that person, yeah? It's probably better to just kind of leave that topic. So, yeah, no, not a fan. That's about as much detail as I can provide on it, but I'm very conscious about not throwing stones, or at least not throwing stones too much, because I'm not perfect. No one's perfect. I just think sometimes bad decisions can be made.